Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and welcome to another visit to the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny fun.
Now welcome back to the baseball hut, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. This is the channel, and I am the only person I think that really likes to mock. I mean, likes to talk about the craziness at WFAN. But before we get into this, and I would mention that I am the person that they don't talk about on the air, but I'm all in their heads, and it's fun to watch it and hear about it time to time. But before we get into that again, I want to send a shout out. Whenever you send me a super thanks, or you send me or become a member of the channel, I will give you a shout out. And we have here another super thanks from NYC Buzz 22, and of course he's a member of the channel, and he just loves the videos, and he's so generous, and he sent me a very generous super thanks overnight. And as the last video I did last week on WFAN and that dope Joe Beningo, so I thank you, sir. And of course, whenever you do that, I put it in a future video, the shout out, and of course I put it in the community, and you can check it out. I have the post on there. So something happened on Friday. Which was rather interesting. What happened on Friday was nothing. As you know, this is a Mets-centric channel, and the Mets have been waiting, and all the fans are waiting to figure out what the Mets first baseman, Pete Alonso, is going to do. Who's he going to sign? Is he going to sign with the Mets? Or is he going to sign with the Blue Jays? Well, it's funny you should ask. It's funny you should mention that. The prominent belief is that he's going to resign with the Mets because he's desperate to come back. This is like when Kramer broke up with that girl, and he was desperate to get back with her after he said such horrible things to her face, and he saw that she was crying. And that's Pete, Pete's the one that's screaming, and then he realizes he's making Met fans cry. And he's begging to come back. It didn't turn out well for Kramer, but anyway, Boomer Esiason. I have a question for Boomer. Let's see why. He played during the 80s and 90s. Did he ever play against Joe Montana? What's he like? Joe Montana was a great quarterback. Did Boomer ever play against him? Anybody knows, please leave a comment in the comment section. I don't even know. But anyway, I digress. So Boomer put out a former tweet, which is now a post on X. I don't tweet anymore. If you talk about tweets and Twitter, you're a boomer. Well, Norman is a boomer, I guess so. Anyway, he put this out on Thursday. I'm feeling like Peter's a Met tomorrow, okay? Got quite the response. Big response. Now, as far as I can tell, as I'm recording this, no, I don't have watch on, but as I'm recording this is late Saturday night. I don't think Pete's signed with the Mets. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. Not too many things get past your host. But again, does he know Joe Montana? He's got to know Joe Montana. They played during the same era. That's going to bother me the rest of the night, I got to tell you. Man. But here's from Odyssey, and they post this, and there's a reason why Boomer did this. What's a real reason? And I would mention about Boomer, he's a Met fan, supposedly. I would mention, when Steve Cohen took over the team, he demanded to know what was going on at the hedge fund of Steve Cohen, and he said he would never go back to Citi Field. Did he ever go back to Citi Field? I wonder. Headline. And WFN doesn't like it when I bring up all this stuff. And I'll get into a little bit of some different things here, but as I'm thinking about it. Why did Boomer predict Pete Alonso will re-sign with the Mets on Friday? Or more like Friday, because it didn't happen. Boomer and his inside sources are right more often than not, and Mets fans are surely hoping what he posted on X Thursday night comes true. I'm feeling like Pete is a Met on Friday. That came out at 8:49 p.m. Man, what a way for Boomer, or as I like to call them, Norman and Greg, to open a feel-good Friday by talking about just why Boomer thinks it's coming. It's more like, thank God. Then you talk about why thank God it's Friday. I feel bad for the people that are held hostage to listen to this show. I'm thinking today's the day, man, so I just wanted to get it out in front of it, Norman said. As a diehard Mets fan myself, I want the guy at first base and in the lineup. Steve Cohen's done a lot of great things for us since he's taken over ownership of this team. Has he gone back since he demanded the... Well, and this will be another nice little present, as I believe they'll come to an agreement today. No, that didn't happen there, Boomer. Boomer kept using the word feel, trying to deflect any potential inside info, saying it was a sneaky suspicion, even as he always has, near to the ground. If he signs with the Mets, he's going to sign with the team before spring training. Before at least the position players. So probably like no later than the 16th. They would get Valentine's Day. That'd be nice. You wouldn't put it out there unless you knew Eddie accused. Well, who's Eddie? Well, I think that's Eddie Scorsese. He's the board op at WFAN. He's been there forever. Did he ever cut his hair? He still got the long hair, Eddie. Quote, yeah, I put it out there. I stand by it. And it doesn't happen, you can call me a jackass, whatever you want. Oh, okay, jackass. Jackass! Every time we go down this road, you make these comments and take these shots, but I do really, hopefully, today is the day. Eddie said they would call him Boostradamus on Monday. I would mention about Nostradamus. No one ever talks about the things he got wrong. There's going to be wars. There's going to be leaders that die. There's going to be a plague. I mean, really. Although Gio thinks that's just going to make Booms paranoid. Listen, all of the Deuce and I do, I've always been very interested in situations like this. And I love situations like this because it really is about people coming together and doing what I believe is the right thing, Boomer said. Let me read this again. This is like something out of this is like a Columbo episode. Remember Columbo? He's sort of the bumbling detective, but he always catches the killer. Let me read this again. All of the Deuce and I do, I've always been very interested in situations like this. I love situations like this because it really is about people coming together and doing what I believe is the right thing. A weird thing to say. And given certain people that I have spoken to, it makes me feel like this is going to be a really good day in Metsland. Well, it didn't happen there, Boomer. That's how I feel today, and I hope by the time the day's over, things get done. I'm very encouraged, okay? He's a very, he really, the individuals at WFAN, boy, they have some imagination. And here's the thing. This is obviously the #1 show at the radio station. And they're influential. So Boomer comes out and says this. He reads again. Why did Boomer predict Pete Alonso would resign with the Mets on Friday? You know why? Because we're in between the Super Bowl. And between the championship game on Sunday and the Super Bowl next week. And the ratings aren't going to be good during this time. Next week, they're going to be really good. And Boomer knows from doing his monkey crap show all these years, he knows that this is not a good week. And he has to go on a high note on Friday, talking about Pete. That's the real reason. It's for ratings. It's to get people to watch and listen to a show, Now, I would mention this, and I make fun of the WFAN because, first of all, WFAN has no competition in New York City. Their competition was basically destroyed. The competition they had was ESPN Radio, and that was basically destroyed, and they basically bought them out. And really, and I mentioned it here and there, WFAN is an extension of the mainstream media. I'll give you a couple of examples of that. Michael Strahan. He does a lot of political stuff on Good Morning America. Okay, no problem there. He has no problem doing that. Tiki Barber did stuff like that on Good Morning America, too. And there are a few others over the years that have done sports and they've done, current events and politics. So here's the thing about, and this is interesting to me, is that no one really criticizes the mainstream media when it comes to sports. Nobody does. You get once in a while, you got Phil Mushnick, and back in the day you had Bob Raceman here in New York. Phil Mushnick is just a bitter old man. He's always been bitter. Nothing fun about him. Raceman was fun when he come up with these different nicknames, but he's pretty much, I don't think he writes anymore. And then there's Neil Best, who does New York Daily News, New York Newsday, excuse me. But he just sort of reports on things. Who's the other guy? Andrew Marchand, I think he's the other guy that does a lot of stuff. But for the most part, I mean, we talk about these different writers that work, with the major league teams. And the thing is that a lot of them work for The Athletic. And if you may not know, The Athletic is owned by the New York Times. And we know the New York Times lies in their publications, and they really have a failed publication. And they obviously have a failed influence on the culture now. But what's interesting is those people get criticized a lot, but WFAN doesn't, and sports media doesn't. They really don't. And they basically carry the narrative of whatever they're told. They really do. And you see it in certain instances. I could talk about this more, but I don't want to push this channel in a political way. If you become a member, I'll talk about, behind the scenes, in my videos. I do a lot of sort of behind the scenes stuff that I like to talk about. People like it. No one says anything. But what's interesting about WFAN is that they're an extension of the big media. But what's different about WFAN is nobody criticizes them, and I'm more entertaining than your host is, because I hit them, and no one hits them harder than I do. And that's what makes what I do very unique here, as opposed to everybody else. All the other YouTubers all want to be part of the system. I do not, okay? Because I want to keep my own. I don't want to sell my soul. And most of them are selling their soul, quite frankly, in my opinion. And right now, and even though canceling is kind of passe now, it's kind of done with, they're all scared shitless. All of them. Because they want to be big shots. They want to be the ones to get the first stories, the first trades. They want to be the big source and all this other nonsense. But be that as it may, WFAN keeps giving me great material. I mean, once in a while, they'll give me something big. This is okay. Making fun of Boomer's not fun to make fun of, because I could make fun of him, I guess. But he doesn't say some of the kind of... He's very good at threatening people. He's good at doing that. He's good at complaining, and he's good at threatening people, He's very good at that, and he's very good at sort of, I don't know what he's good at, to be honest with you. And this is another episode and another visit. I would mention, I like doing these videos. I'm going to keep doing these videos. It's nothing, and the heart means nothing that WFAN can do about it. They provide the material, and I try to put videos out on the weekend, because what they do on the radio is their job. This is my passion. This is my interest. And if you still like it, if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. And of course, this is another visit to the insane asylum known as WFAN. Subscribe.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha, to the funny fun.